Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is No Dust here. We're going to do some more budget shaman ladder climbing. No epics, legendaries, or adventure cards. So let's hop onto the ladder and see how we go. Okay, against a mage and we're going second. Do I want the abusive if we're going second? I don't think so. And against the mage, I mean, you do bait out the ping on turn 1, but then you sort of need something to follow up on turn 2. Let's keep it, just for tempo. And just a reminder, oh, there we go, so the clockwork is much better. Just a reminder, I've made some changes to the deck in the last video that have made the list a lot more defensive. We took an abusive out, I think we took the Dark Iron out for, and we put in some pyros, a second clockwork, and a Senjin. Here we are. Do I want to coin out the Horse Rider, or can we afford to wait? I do have a follow-up play, so I can coin Scarlet and then Horse Rider. I think that works. And then I have a turn 4 play. Yeah, let's coin the Scarlet out. I don't think a mage is an easy answer. I mean, you do have arcane missiles, so that is an issue. But we don't need to play as fast with the Argent Horse Rider. So I think the Scarlet Crusader comes out. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it still goes 1 for 1. You slowed yourself down quite considerably, actually. Okay, that's fine. I think we still hold the Horse Rider in hand. I'll blow the heal. It doesn't look like this game is going to come down to a health total, although against mages it often does. But the Horse Rider abusive combo is actually quite useful, and something I will be able to tap into to pay 4 mana for a 4-attack charge. Okay, that's fine. And I'm happy to develop the Maiden. Although Maiden on turn 4, this gives me more attack for the next turn. No, I think the Maiden's a little slower. I mean, the Taunt will be able to do some stuff for us to protect the Maiden next turn if need be. Okay, alright, that's fine. That's a perfect target, actually, for the Horse Rider abusive. Okay, that's fine. Those were actually some pretty lucky... those were actually some pretty lucky missiles. I think any of the missiles going onto the Maiden would have made it. I guess, it would have been susceptible to Blizzard next turn. I think I'm pretty definitely going to spend 4 mana to do the Horse Rider abusive. Let's totem up to see what we get. Okay, that's fine. So actually that's fine. The one thing I should note down, 4 damage removal is very useful against Flamewakers. Okay. Okay, not the worst outcome. But we are sort of running out of resources. I think I'm going to want to tap as much as possible. Not tap, sorry. Abuse my one mana hero power as much as possible. Now this plays into Flame Strike turn. Do I care? Do I care that it plays into Flame Strike turn? I think it's actually worth me finding something to play on turns. Yeah, we go. So this is a turn 7 play. That's pretty useful, actually. Now again, we're very vulnerable to Flame Strike, but that's basically the only thing the mage opponent can do here, especially with the Taunt totem has come up. So, we're looking okay, but yeah, again, there it is. There's the Flame Strike. Not too bad. It essentially went 2 for 1, but she spent, my mage opponent spent the entire turn doing that. Okay, and now we get to develop a pretty neat Thunderbluff Valiant. Pardon me. And then we can protect it next turn with Senjin. Yeah, so I'm liking how the new list is working out, but it's still probably too early to tell. I just wonder if I've taken out too many of my totem synergistic things, because I mean, it's a shaman's job to make totems. It's just useful to have hero power. It's useful to have things that synergize with your hero power. Okay, it seems like a quite controlling mage deck if you're running poly. You're running a poly and a flame strike. What is your win condition? I wonder. Do we look for the second Flame Strike? I think so. I don't think I need to commit anything else at the moment against an empty board. The only thing that the Mage has played so far is a Flamewaker and a Mana Worm. So we'll have to see what exactly is in your list. Okay, and there's the Ronin. We have a Hex for that, so that's fine. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Do we want a Pyro Hex or just straight up Hex? I think straight up Hex is fine, because I can still clear the board. Yeah, let's just straight up Hex. The Pyro Hex isn't super necessary, plus it reduces the value of my board. And I think we, like I've said before, I'll just start banking resources. When you're ahead as a Shaman, you can afford to bank resources and force your opponent to do to spend their board clears. And again, a Flame Strike is going to work against this board, but it's going to spend your entire turn. You only have 3 mana, and then I can push out onto the board next turn. So your Flame Strike pinging, that's a ridiculously slow turn. And we know that both Flame Strikes are gone. So I can be quite aggressive here. I think we push out with the Juggler. And just totem up. I think that's enough of a commitment for now. There we go, with the 2 taunts. You probably need to... you're probably looking at a torch for the Juggler, or a Frostbolt for a Juggler. This is actually the Ethereal Conjurer is actually turning out to be a very... There we go, so there's the Cotton Torch. The Ethereal Conjurer is actually turning out to be a very interesting card in terms of how often you see it, and how useful it might be to be able to counter a card like that. Now... do I want to sneak in the 3 damage to the face? I think that's fine. I think it's worth... I mean, clearing the Conjurer means that I get to preserve my Stoneclaw. Let's see what my totem comes out with. Okay, that's fine. It's not really... I mean, the Stoneclaw itself is going to get killed by the ping. And there are no more Flame Strikes in hand. So let's just cash in the damage while we can. Okay. Second sheep. You run 2 sheeps and 2 you run 2 sheeps and 2 Flame Strikes. What are you playing at? I just sense that it's a little too defensive. But then again, you have 2 Arcane Intellects as well. I guess it's like a card advantage, tempo mage sort of thing. Hard to say. Hard to say, really. Excellent. Very lucky, actually, that we had the sheep left over. And again, I'm just going to play slowly. There's no need to rush anything. Do we want to push out with a Clockwork? Just to draw the ping on a 4-card turn. Do I want to draw the ping on a 4-card turn? My Mage is on turn 10 with 5 cards. Do I want to draw a ping? No, I think we can hold on to it for now. I think this thing can also be played with a Stormwind Champ. Okay, Jesus, that's a lot of late game. Okay. Yeah, it's like a super defensive control mage. And we may not actually have the answers. I think I'm going to have to look for the second Hex here. Otherwise, I think we're just done for. Okay. I'm gonna cycle for the Hex by Argusing it up. But there may be too many fireballs coming out of the Mage's hand. It's actually quite awkward to fireball these things. I wonder if she's just going to cycle face and just fireball my face. Are you going to spend a fireball on a 3-2? Okay, no. So you're going to spend... So that's 2 fireballs. But the maximum number of fireballs you can cast each turn is 2 anyway. Hopefully we find the Hex. Okay, Flame Cannon as well. Sheesh. Yeah, it's not looking too good for us this game. And yeah, so that's a lot of free fireballs. I'm really gonna need that Hex, otherwise it's basically game. Yeah, this is a super control mage. You're spending a fireball to clear it 2/2. I mean, it's a refund, so I think the entire hand is fireballs. The lightning storm isn't going to do it. I think we still have to buy time. We still have to buy time. I think I'll taunt up my heal bot. So either it'll absorb a fireball or it'll absorb 5 damage. It's about the same. It's gonna block. Yeah, it's probably gonna block. Okay. So he's gonna preserve his Antonidas. And the thing is, I don't think I can even win this game really with the amount of fireball value that's coming out. You sort of need a Loatheb or, you know, one of my hexes. And we're not getting it in hand. So this is going to be a problem. The knife juggle, we could get a lucky juggle. So we're going to have to try for it. Should have played the pyro. That was my mistake. Okay. Okay, we have to get all 3 juggles. That's going to be tough. No, that's not going to happen. I think we're done, yeah. Yeah, just couldn't stop the Antonidas combo. Not much I'm going to do about that, especially at rank 17. I don't really know what against this control mage, like hyper control mage. What are my options? What are my options against the hyper control mage? So I don't think I made any misplays. I mean, I hexed the Ronin. Perhaps I could have waited a bit longer. But if you're running both Ronin and Antonidas and double Flamestroke, double Sheep, it's going to be tough for a mid-range Shaman deck to get through because of, you know, how much value it gets against my minions. I don't have many minions that sit outside Flamestrike range. Something to think on. Anyway, next game. Okay, against Priest, we can keep the Pyro. It's not likely I'm going to need the Pyro's effect against a Priest, so I think it's worthwhile just to keep as a 2-drop. Yeah, against a heavy control mage like that, with probably double Conjurer as well. It's like spell-heavy synergies. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The only answer that I can think of, and maybe you guys can help me out, the only answer that I can think of against something like that, against an Antonidas, I mean, you know, either you draw the Hex, which I did draw 1 Hex, but you sort of need 2, or you... and I'm going to play this instead of the Knife Juggler, so the Knife Juggler can get some value later on. Or I run a Loatheb. Like, a Loatheb is Loatheb's a great answer to combo decks, like spell combo decks and things like that. But obviously we don't have access to that. And, you know, Loatheb is getting cycled out. He's becoming a legacy card shortly in Standard. And... okay. Now, what do I want to do here? Do I want to Horse Rider, or do I want to... So he didn't coin paint it. He might just be waiting to paint it. Is it okay if he paints the Horse Rider? What else might I do? I might do Clockwork Knife Juggler, and he's not quite. I mean, next turn he'll be able to coin Shadow Madness. And that'll be quite painful actually if he gets to coin Shadow Madness. My Knife Juggler. So I think I will hold the Knife Juggler for now, because I'm sensing a Shadow Madness or a Shadow Word Pain. Yeah, so I think Loatheb does a lot of work against combo-y decks, against OTK decks. I guess Antonidas is not really an OTK deck. It's sort of like a heavy control. Having Antonidas and having Ronin, it's like a heavy control mage. You aim to get to the late game and you combo your Antonidas with a number of spells. Okay, you may just be holding that. Again, I'm going to hoard my resources. I don't know whether it's actually worth being aggressive here. Are you playing some sort of like a Dragon Priest with Twilight Drakes? You're just holding your hand, or maybe my opponent is AFK? It's hard to say. Yeah. Another thing that can work, actually, that I didn't think of against that sort of hyper control mage, is running Trogs. Now the small Trogg, the 2 for 2/3 that gains 1 attack every time your enemy casts a spell, I don't think that's really worthwhile. But the medium Trogg, the 4-drop, at 4 for 3/5, gains 2 attack every time your opponent casts a spell. That can be quite useful actually, for drawing out. Well, I mean, I guess once the Antonidas win condition goes off, it's going to be pretty hard to come back. But that's actually quite good against a spell-heavy list. So let me actually note that down. Because the Troggs, you can get them from packs, I'm pretty sure. So big Trogg equals worth considering if there's a spell-heavy meta. And there is very likely to be the case in Standard. I think a spell-heavy meta probably will come back in Standard because of what's going to happen to Loatheb. Okay, I think we abusive this, and then we get the heal ups, and that's going to be really nice. The question is, do I want to develop a Scarlet Crusader? Because this thing is, it'll survive against Light Bomb, it'll survive against Holy Nova. I think it's worth doing. You know, I'm just going to develop my anti-AoE, and Divine Shields are sort of anti-AoE. They take two pings to take down. So, you know, Shaman's being so reliant on building up a big board. That's sort of the reason why I put the Divine Shields in. Okay, you can still do a bit of burn shenanigans, so that can be a little bit worrying. He's already spent a shield. Usually you combo like you do like a Wild Pyro, Circle of Heal, and a shield on the Wild Pyro to give you a really neat board clear. There's probably at least one of those cards in hand. Or you could play like a Shadow Red Pain on the Horse Rider and do a big burn. Yeah, anyway, big Trogg, worth considering. But it's a 4-drop slot. It's in a 4-drop slot, so, you know, I probably have to trade out a Senjin or probably trade out maybe even the Maiden for it. It just depends whether we run into... And actually, big Trogg's probably worked fairly well against the aggro Shaman list we've been seeing. Okay, oh, you're going to coin Circle Heal? No, you're just going to heal. And then Circle Heal? And Silence. Okay. That's fine. Is it worth me... I think it's actually... better for me to try for some knives. Yeah, let's try for some knives. We can tote them up and then throw the Clockwork. Okay, and this is actually really good. Very lucky knives. Very, very lucky knives. I think it would have been too slow to develop the Lightning Storm, although I would have still had 3 mana. But that's still fine because you're spending a lot of resources to clear essentially like it was basically a very low value board. Knife Juggler and a Clockwork Gnome, and it gave me value back as well. I think we can Maiden... do I want to draw with the Drake? I think we can hold on the Drake, and we can even combo Drake with Lightning Storm. So yeah, let's Maiden Hero Power. And do I want to spend the Armor Plating now? No, I think we can hold on it. I think we could wait till next turn to spend the Armor Plating. It's unlikely that I'm going to need to use the Lightning Storm, but to have the reach on the spell is going to be nice. Yeah, big Trogg, actually. I'll have to check whether big Trogg... and that's not the real name of the card. What is it? Stone Splinter? Burly Rockjaw, that's right. Burly Rockjaw. Very useful. It's sort of like an anti-AoE card as well, because it'll get buffed whenever the opponent plays. And okay, that Loatheb is going to be interesting. Don't know when I'm going to have an answer to that, actually. The Fire Alley works. Yeah, just barely. Okay, I think we're still going to do the Fire Alley play. It leaves my Maiden very low. Actually, we could even go past, but I think that's a little too greedy. Leaves my Maiden very low, but we've already seen one Holy Nova come out, and we've seen one set of Pyro shenanigans. You could be running double Pyro in Priest. Priests often run Pyro with Clerics. That's one thing that I do like doing for draw shenanigans. Okay, Circle Heal over Heal. Okay. Very defensive Priest list again. I don't know... Okay. Do we Pyro Lightning Storm or Drake Lightning Storm? Drake Lightning Storm gives me a guaranteed clear. Drake Lightning Storm. And yeah, I think the Drake Lightning Storm makes sense. And do we want to spend the armor plating? I think we can actually save the armor plating for some AoE shenanigans if we need to. I think I'll hold it just as an option. The Drake is going to be pretty hard for my priest opponent to clear, unless you've got Light Bomb. And Light Bomb to clear one. Ooh, okay, that's... Wow, we seem to be running into a lot of control lists with a lot of value. Gonna need the Hex. Again, digging for the Hex. Now that's pretty lucky, actually, for it to hit not me. I think we're just gonna have to play what Trump calls Ragnar's Roulette. So you develop as many minions as possible, and you sort of just count on Rag not hitting something very valuable. If the worst target is Drake, I don't mind if it hits something else. What might be really disastrous is an MC going onto the Sunwalker, and I wouldn't rule out MC in this priest list. Okay, no, circle heal. Okay, Valence. That's actually pretty slow. But it's a pretty scary board. Okay, there's the Hex. Excellent. We do Hex. Now I do want to silence this thing. And then Hex the Rag. And the Injured Blade actually has a tough time against my Sunwalker. And I'm pretty sure he would have made a mind control play if he'd had the mind control in hand, as opposed to the slow Injured Blade Valence. So I think we can count on him not having it. Wow, that's a lot of legendaries. Lot of legendaries. Oh, no, it's not a lot. It's just more than I'm used to seeing at this sort of level. Okay, with Resurrect as well, isn't it? I don't know if that's... I don't know how much I like that. Could be good. Maybe. That's hard to say. We can do some burning as well, actually. Do I want to clear the board? Because I'm going to have more value in the long term with my... okay, so I can hit... I can leave the Injured Blade up. I can hit... No, I should actually hit, go in there. Yeah, because then if I hit here, the Sunwalker won't die from the Pyro burn. But then again, do I want him to guarantee steal the Pyro? Yeah, I think I do. I think I do want that. Okay. Luckily, we saved the armor plating. Pyro's still going 2 for 1, but then he's taking my Pyro, so that's not great. But I think it's the only answer we really have. Okay, that's going to be nice. Do I want to develop? Yeah, I think we have to push out. Yeah, and again, I think we've just fallen too far behind in terms of the value of the list. It's just presenting itself to be a conundrum. But we are running into quite a few spell-heavy lists, so I will really think about that Trogg include. Perhaps even double Burly Rockjaw. Interesting. Okay. Probably going to heal the Injured Blade, or you might want to heal the Pyro out of range. The Pyro is actually probably more useful. Okay, wow. Just a strange... Okay. Okay, Loot Hoarder isn't going to do a lot for me here. Do I want to stealth the Loot Hoarder? No, I think I need the card draw anyway. So we'll give him a clear on the Loot Hoarder. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate. Just going down to like high value cards and just tough situations. Would a Burly Rockjaw Trogg help me out? I'll have to check. And I'll probably have to craft it as well. I don't think there's any in this collection. But Anyway, let's see what we find. The Argus is not great, but if we draw something nice, if we say like draw a fire elemental, then we can actually do some work and come back into this game. Okay, there we go. So there's the fire elemental. Excellent. And do I want to Argus up, or do I want to Cloak Field? I think Cloak Field is better, actually. Yeah. Yeah, let's Cloak Field. Because this gives me a guaranteed buff on the elemental next turn, and then I get a clear. I get a guaranteed clear on the Blade Master. It does put it into BGH range, but then I do get the guaranteed value from the Cloak Field and the Fire Elemental's attack. So a bit of RNG going our way, but by no means does that mean we will win this game. I wonder what else is in your list. You're running a Flash Heal, and both the Orkanais have come up. So I'm sensing some sort of like Orkanai, double Flash Heal, double Light of the Naru nonsense. Okay. You're doing Thaurissan on 2. I think I still need to clear the Thaurissan as a... Ooh, is that enough? That actually is enough. But oh no, it's not, because Valiant Totem doesn't give me enough to buff the Argus. I think we have to go for Totem here though, and then buff the Argus. Yep. And we do want to clear the Thaurissan. Again, this makes me very vulnerable to BGH. But with the 3 cards in hand, I don't know whether the Thaurissan ticks actually make a difference. So, okay, there's the Death. That's fine. We actually have a ton of totems on board that we can use to contest. Okay. We might even actually be able to deck our Priest opponent if I want to. I don't know, is that a good idea or is that not a good idea? It's hard to say. Okay, Circle. Okay, so you're going for that. I mean, you're sort of decking yourself right now, but I might be giving him too much value if I did that. Yeah, okay. One of the hexes is going to be fine. I think we can see what we find first. Okay. We can clear. Do I want to clear? The question is, do I want to clear in Northshire? The Northshire doesn't itself represent a lot of threat. I think I leave the Northshire up so that he decks himself. Or do we... It's hard to say. Do I want to take away the draw potential, or do I want to leave it up? No, let's take it away. Let's take it away. Because we can win with the Thunder Bluff value. And plus, this thing, if we keep getting lucky Stone Claws, which is pretty likely because unless he has some sort of AoE, like a second Holy Nova, he's going to have trouble getting through, and I have a very good chance of Stone Clawing up turn after turn. So, we will see what happens. Something like a Light Bomb will also hurt quite considerably. Okay, there's the Light of the Naru, that's fine.
In the light's name.
We do have answers, and then the Valence. That's still fine, we still have answers to that. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go 5-6. No, that's fine, that's fine. Ooh, okay, this is going to be nice. Now, we don't have enough damage to finish, I don't believe. But we do have enough to clear his entire board, which I think I will do, just to play it safe. And this, the Valiant just so happens to be a... I mean, this is vulnerable to death, but the Valiant now is out of Shadow Word Pain range. I wonder if you're actually running Shadow Word Pains. You probably have Orkanai Circle, like double Orkanai, double Circle. So in that case, you might not even run Pains because you have the defensiveness of the Orkanai Circle. Yeah, but we got pretty lucky. Like the draws were pretty lucky. Now let's see how much damage we have. I think we're done if this is a spell power. Yep. So I think we're done anyway. Yeah, I don't think I didn't need the spell power. Yeah, it just seems like we got lucky because there were so many healing cards, and he wasn't. And that hex on the hex on the injured blade really worked out. Okay, so that was lucky. We had to deal with the rag. We had to deal with Valence. I was, admittedly getting a little salty there, but we made it through. But I still will remember the Burly Rockjaw as an option. But let's actually take a look at whether, I mean, it's getting cycled out because it's I think it's a GVG card, but it's still worth, you know, having a copy. I think it's Burly, yep, and we don't have a copy, but here we are. So this is a GVG card. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain 2 attack. Going to be very, very useful against things like tempo mages. Very useful against things like freeze. I don't know about freeze mages. Maybe against freeze mages. But just generally useful all around if you're facing a lot of spell-based synergies. I'll consider it if we run into more. I guess I'll consider it if we run into more. Mech / spell-focused mages. Yeah, because they have so many things like mirror images, as we saw, and you know, arcane intellects and stuff like that. The Burly Rockjaw buff will be really nice. So let's go on to the next game. Okay, Loot Hoarder. The problem with Loot Hoarder is we're susceptible to a coin muster. So do I want to try for something else? It might even be better for me to just totem up on turn 2. But then having Loot Hoarder on the turn 3... let's keep it. Let's keep it as a cycle. We may need the cycle for, you know, Pyro, for things like that. Abusive into Loot Hoarder, it's not going to do a lot, but I think... What does it contest? What is my abusive contest against the Pally? I mean, it does tempt him into using the coin to do a dude early. And that's actually pretty good, I think. I think it's worth baiting out the coin dude. Because it blocks the coin muster on turn 2. Which means my Loot Hoarder will be protected. The other scenario is coin minibot. And that's just, well, it's not much. There's not much any decks that can... There's not much you can do about that. Minibot being such a powerful card. So let's see what your answer is. Here we are. And actually, the Burly Rockjaw would do pretty well also against things like a Pally. But I think it's too slow. Being a 4-drop, a lot of those spells come out pretty early, I think. Okay, now... This is fine. And I'll develop my... I think I want to save the Pyro for some sort of burn synergy. The only thing he can do is dude up again. He can't coin muster. I don't know whether that's... It's hard to say whether it was correct or not. Okay. A Mech Pally. That's interesting. Mech Pally. This is tough. The Loot Hoarder, yeah, it goes up so poorly against the Mech Warper. And actually, I'll be very glad to see this thing go. Mech Warper's a little bit... Suffice it to say, it's a bit of a headache. But actually, it's not too bad. If the Mech Warper goes for a favorable trade against my Loot Hoarder, I can you know, play Pyro Totem up and try for two knives. It's probably more likely that... Okay, interesting. Ah, excellent. Well, there we have the ooze. I'm glad we saved the ooze. So you're gonna... Ooh. Really? Really? Do I go Knife Juggler ooze? We could throw 2 knives. Or I can go... If I don't totem, if I play the ooze along with another 2-drop, I think we're very vulnerable to a Consecrate. I don't want to be that vulnerable to a Consecrate. So I do want to totem up. Okay. And I think I will... Do I want to clear this thing? We're heading into the Consecrate turn. Is it worth committing my Knife Juggler so that he gets less value off the Consecrate? What's the likelihood that you would have kept a Consecrate against a Shaman? I think that's a pretty high likelihood, actually. So... let's sort of play around that. So yeah, the general deal is, what I like to do is, if you're expecting a board clear to come in the next turn, you know, trade off your minions, because they're going to get killed by the board clear anyway. And, you know, there's a chance that you're going to lose that value. Okay, it's a sword. You had a Sword of Justice and a regular sword. What's going on? Okay, and I think the Argus here is fine. The Argus actually plays quite neatly around the Consecrate and protects me against the sword. I don't know what you're thinking I'm going to face. Did I play this guy previously? No. I don't know what you're thinking going straight to face with a True Silver. Perhaps you were going to face with the True Silver to wait for this turn so that you could drop a Consecrate. But the Argus is neatly... Okay. What the heck? Well, okay, sure. And 1 health... actually, 1 health does make a difference. The difference between 1 and 2 health against Paladins, as far as I know, this thing becomes more vulnerable to a muster, but having these two both at 2 health, I think the problem is then they become vulnerable to Consecrate. So I think it's better to play around Consecrate than it is against Muster, because I do have so many answers to Muster. Wow, it's like a dedicated, whatchamacallit, dedicated something or other. Okay. I don't think we can get punished by this, although it could be Laser Trap. I didn't consider Laser Trap. Let's play around the Get Down. There is no Get Down, okay. Sacred Trial, that's what it's called, not Laser Trap. I just call it Laser Trap because that's what the picture says. I mean, that's what the picture reads to me. Okay, looking pretty strong. So yeah, we've had some good luck, or lucky plays, lucky draws in the last few games. After that tough game against the Mage, I mean, we got stomped basically because of the Antonidas win condition. We went up against Pally. The Priest game was drawn out. And the Pally game was fairly straightforward because I think his list is a little too gimmicky. I think, do I want to do one more? No, I think we'll leave things there. Just because of how long that Priest game took. Yeah, so let's finish up. And I will be back shortly with some more Budget Shaman. But I think we've made some good discoveries. I mean, the Rockjaw Trogg is definitely a piece of tech that I'll keep in mind. I mean, at least until Standard comes, it's going to be a viable piece of tech. Especially for this list that has no access to Loatheb. I mean, Loatheb is probably the ideal counter to OTK decks, but this is an arbitrary restriction I'm placing upon myself. But I just want to see how far we can get. Okay, so let's finish up there. Thanks in advance, guys, for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I do this for love. Any gestures of appreciation mean a lot. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys had a lovely day. I will be back with some more Budget Shaman ladder climbing shortly. And until then, this is No Dust signing off.